all. Some of you might have seen my videos. So welcome to all of you. And usually in all my orientation sessions, I begin by congratulating you people. Okay? Because it's not that you have achieved something great, but a decisive step you have taken to shape your future. And this is like a civil services examination. Preparation itself is a launching pad for your future. You've already written something extraordinary on your forehead. Whether you will achieve those great heights or not, that's a secondary thing. But the journey is more interesting than the goal. These are not my words. Recently, UPSC CSE has asked like that. Today, I'll be going a bit of 360 degrees of my optional anthropology. And as I've already mentioned, some of you might have attended my sessions and you know that I'll be involving you people once in a while. Not many, maybe 3-4 questions I'll ask you. But let me begin with one question. The most silly question, but the most deep thought-provoking question I'm going to ask you. Have you ever seen any animal other than the humans walking or standing on 2 feet? Take a minute of thinking, or about 5 seconds, and answer. Have you ever seen any animal on this planet standing and walking and running like the humans like we do? Have you ever seen? Or you might have seen some Animal Planet, Discovery Channel. In that, certain animals you might have seen, which are also standing on 2 legs, like our penguins. But can we compare penguins to humans? Acha. ठीक है. That is one question. Have you seen any other animal performing marriage? Unless some Instagram fellows for their reels, for their likes, and they marry one pet dog, or Julie with Johnny, something like that they do. Otherwise, do animals perform marriages on their own? Absolutely not possible. Family? Do they have relationships? For example, do they come for blood donation? If you want some blood, A blood group, do they come? Or when a small piece of meat is there, only one piece of meat is there, when 2 dogs are there, have you seen any time that one dog says, okay, I'll relax today, my stomach is full, you please take? Have you ever seen that? Why I'm asking so many questions is because of the fact that I want your 100% attention, by the way. Anyhow, that is the guarantee that you are giving to me for the next 1.5 hour sessions, approximately 1.5 hours. Why it is all happening? What is this human? What it takes to be human? What are we? Who are we? Have we ever got this occasion to question ourselves? Maybe perhaps you are traveling on a train or a bus. Suddenly you realize, who am I? Where am I going? That happens with everybody of us. Even it happened with many times with me. Sometimes we become philosophical. Sometimes we become spiritual. But on the whole, who are we? Are we like other animals on this planet? Or are we humans? Why we are different? Why we have language? Why we have speech? Whereas the animals do not have. Even the closest cousin called the chimpanzee does not do all this. It can also do some kind of language. It will express. Animals express. Animals communicate. But can the chimpanzee come here and give a speech for 1.5 hour anthropology orientation session? Why not? So these are the questions raised by some extraordinary people called anthropologists. And one more thing, like you people know, most of you know already that the anthropology optional is the most popular optional in southern states, especially three southern states: Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Karnataka, and to some extent in West Bengal, Jammu and Kashmir. I have students all over India because I've taught in online in Unacademy. I've taught in IAS Baba, I've taught in Delhi, I've taught in other institutions as well. So there are this optional is popular in many parts, even in Maharashtra, because our students may be coming from different backgrounds. And why it is so? Because majority of the students, if I take a sample survey in the class, if I ask a general question, what is your education qualification? Majority of us, you will say, sir, I have done BTech or BE or, correct, these days. In any class, I've been teaching anthropology for the last 17 years. And I've been teaching for UPSC Civil Services exam for the last 28 years. In February, I've completed entered into 28 years. And even before that, I was a tuition master. So almost nearly 30 years you can actually take on an average. So in all these years, I've been seeing the number of engineering and other students increasing for civil services examination. And for them, anthropology is like a fresh break. 2 days back, I was speaking to one of my students. She called me and we had a conversation. She said, sir, I'm also a BTech student. I've worked in a software company. And for 2 years I was there. I did not like that somehow. But one of my choices in life was, career choice was UPSC. But initially when I entered, it was all chaos, confusion. Lot of optionals. These are all popular optionals. Among them, I have chosen anthropology, and today I'm feeling lucky because she used the same word I am using now. Anthropology looks like, I'm not going to write much today. I'll be showing certain matter which is already typed. It will be easily consumed by you. She said, sir, it looks like a fresh novel. And before I actually go into the depth, you may not be ready to also buy that argument, believe, because some of you have not yet decided. Some of you might have decided to go with anthropology already. For those who have not yet decided, these statements look like certain, overstatements. But you need to just exercise some patience. Slowly you will understand why it is a novel. And can you tell me what is the meaning of novel in English? Novel. New. Anything new is novel. So have you ever heard, I'm going to again throw another question to you. Have you ever heard anthropology in your school or college days? School, college days especially. Unless you have started preparing for civils earlier. Yes or no? Yes, sir. Majority of you? No. That's the reason it offers a fresh break. And what exactly is this going to have? The subject matter. Who is that central figure in anthropology? That single most extraordinary person on the planet. In fact, the human, man, woman, me. In fact, you'll be like astonished, you'll be shocked that after the end of this journey, about 5 months, approximately 5 months will take. Because we teach in only 5-day schedule. Usually we have 5-day program only. But if time demands, we'll be taking some classes on Saturdays as well, if possible. And it is about approximately 5-month journey. You will be discovering that every day the finger is, because earlier the fingers were always pointing outwards. Slowly the fingers start pointing at yourself. So slowly you will be discovering yourself. You will be rediscovering yourself. I told you, please mark my words. If possible, if needed, you can even write those words. Statements. I told you, these are certain times blanket statements. Overstatements, they look like on the face of it. But gradually, it will be completely unveiled. Anthropology is nothing but, what is the meaning of anthropology? What is anthropology, my dear friends? Study of humans. Of course, this is then general stuff but the biggest question, that is anthropology, the choice of optional, because optional can make or break your chances in selection list. Every teacher will tell that same thing. Even I'll be ranting the same. Optional is a decider. And when we wrote this exam, well, last almost like 24 years back, was my last attempt. We had 2 optionals, 2 GS papers, interview, essay separately. It was total 2000 marks. Now they have removed one optional, they have retained only one optional. And you know what are the highest marks that were available earlier, that were given? About 350, 360. Some people, even mathematics optional people, used to score 400 plus. Nowadays, there is a tendency, almost all the optionals are performing almost at the same level. 290, toppers, I'm talking about toppers marks, 290, 300, about 5 to 10 people are crossing 300. Only 5, you can count them on fingers. In anthropology optional this year, the toppers marks were 316, and that guy was my unacademy student. I'll share his name. 316 were the highest marks. So, what is this idea? Why I'm talking about these marks now? Can we get these kinds of marks in GS? That's a question. In GS, even the toppers, if you examine, you yourself do this homework after going home. If you see this marks of GS 1, 2, 3, there is a tendency for the last 10 years. 2 papers, very less people cross even 100. Paper 3, GS paper 3, and ethics papers. And essay, they'll be roughly coming at about 110, 120. The topper will cross 120. That means, what is the idea? In optional, you can actually stand out. Optional is like your own signature. It is the specialization. And it is not general studies. As the name is suggesting, general studies. In general studies, you need to go generally. You need to just complete those 20 questions or 15 questions. That's it. Here, you need a bit of specialization. And can I ask you one more question? What is the level of optional? And syllabus level, like for example, difficulty level. Is it of degree level or undergraduate level or honors level or PG level or PhD level? Any idea? Absolutely. Honors level. Optional is of honors level. And most of the general studies, for example, your teachers and my teachers also told me where to start for GS. You know the answer. Where should we start for GS? The basic books, NCRTs. What are the levels of NCRT? NCRT level ekkadi nunchi start cheyali? 7th class, 8th class, 9th class. That means there is a gap between the standards required for GS and the standards required for optional. So optional is a serious thing and one cannot take it lightly. And with all due respect to everyone, we cannot, the decision to go with an optional is absolutely yours, 100%. Today I'll be talking about slight philosophy, if you permit me. One philosophical question I'll ask you. In this world, for example, you will come and join us, you have paid fees and all that. To whom you will pay the fees? To the teachers or your friends who give advice? But who are giving you free advice every now and then in the tea stalls or in the study halls or some cafeteria? Some people, right? They have only very little experience. They have not seen the world. They have not even got the maturity. Right? And in earlier orientation sessions of UPSC, I've said, what is the level of maturity that is required for a UPS, that a civil servant? Does anybody remember? And entry age is 21 years, right? But what is the level of maturity that you should have? About 40-year-old person, 50-year-old person's mindset. So that kind of maturity will come only after at least 1-2 years of preparation. Then only you can go and give some advice to some person. So that is the reason better, first of all, you spend some time with your syllabus, go through the syllabus, see the trends in the questions, PYQs and all, and if possible, come and meet us. Whatever optional you want to actually explore, we are always there to help you. So having said that, let us go through some questions, fundamental questions. And my discussion broadly involves these dimensions. What is anthropology? What is anthropology? Selecting anthropology as your syllabus or your optional, sorry. Is anthropology an interesting syllabus subject? And finally, your queries. And what is anthropology? The study of humans. Anthropology comes with a joining of two words, Greek words, anthropos and logos. Anthropos means humans. Anthropos is simply humans and logos is study. I'm not going to teach any class here, just one or two words I'll write. Anthropos is a Greek word, and the origin of this discipline is in Western world. That is, it is called human. Anthropos means humans or mankind. And what is logos? Logos means actually it is logic. Logic or study or science. We are studying humans. Oh, very simple statement. Is it so simple? What about mathematics? What about engineering? What about medicine? What about geography? What about management? What about sociology? What about history? Are they not studying humans? They are also studying humans, right? Or some dimension of humanity. But who will study the core of humanity? There must be some people, no? There must be some people who study human history through anthropology. There must be some people who will be studying human geography through the lens of anthropology. I'll repeat for you. I'll even draw small illustrative diagrams to make it more clear. I repeat. See, you all study history, right? You all study history. You all study geography. All your GS subjects I'll take for a moment. Let us imagine. We all study history. It is almost like the number one GS subject. We all study geography. We'll study economy. We study polity. We study science and technology. We study environment. And what is my intention is, I'm trying to put anthropology here in the middle. And do we have this extraordinary paper or that phase called personality tests? What about ethics? What about essay? And very ironically, this angle is not much expressed. People think that this is different and these are different. In fact, anthropology serves like a prism or a lens through which you can understand these subjects better. I'm using the word better. Anthropology is such a subject which enables humans to understand themselves. I'll go slightly academic now. Slowly I'll come to normal. I'll be switching different switches. What is anthropology? What did I write here? It is a prism or a lens which will enable us to understand ourselves better. From which angles, which dimensions? We'll touch upon history, we'll touch upon geography, we'll touch upon every other dimension that is part of our actually syllabus, our preparation. For that matter, history. Let me just take one example. Right? History. Because in history, you'll be talking about Indus Valley civilization, Neolithic age. And I'm sure some of you will answer, what were the tools that were developed by humans in the Neolithic? Anyone? Polished stone tools, correct? Polished stone tools. Exactly. And anthropology raises the question, why humanity has used or developed polished stone tools. You just give a bundle and just bundle de do, so everybody will take. I just take 1 second. Give 5544 copies. Then rest of it you make it. We raise a hell of a lot of questions called why, where. We'll go to the origins. For example, we are talking about polished stone tools, correct? When did polished stone tools come into the picture? Even in history they'll come, even in anthropology they come. Polished stone tools were developed by humanity. Earlier the stone tools were like this. They were hand axes and all that. And man realized that if I use these kind of stone tools, I'll not be getting the results. See, there is a saying in English, necessity is the mother of invention. And why humanity developed polished stone tools is because they wanted to clear the jungles. They wanted to cut the grasses and trees. With earlier tools, when they tried to do that, they were easily breaking. And what will happen in polished stone tools, you know? Polished means they take some sand, put the sand here, take a tool and they polish, and they, if you see from a distance, they start shining also. What is the meaning of this? When you polish a stone or stone tool, and if you again use it as a tool, will it break or will it be strong? It will be extraordinarily strong. Why? Because by polishing, all these cracks, etc., the loose, what he called, I can say delicate parts are all completely gone. They are removed. That means the cracks are removed. Now the tool is ready to be used as a hand axe, which is equivalent to the iron axe. There was an extraordinary scholar called D.K. Bhattacharya, an archaeologist. He said, these Neolithic polished stone tools, see their toughness is equivalent to iron. So these kinds of why questions are raised by anthropologists. What you study in history? In history you don't study why they have made stone tools like this. Similarly, in geography, there is an idea called anthropogeography. Everybody is interested in geography, their dimensions. But we have a dimension called anthropogeography. And what is exact idea? That nature shapes the culture. For example, in Telugu language, you see, if you ask for example, in the sun you come, in the afternoon, what is the sun we say? It is mandu tenda. In the morning we say neerenda. So in sun, in English they have only one word for sun. But in Telugu we have got so many words. Similarly, if you go and ask an Eskimo will give almost 8 words for ice. They have 8 words for ice and snow. That means what exactly is, the idea? Culture. Culture is shaped by nature. So we'll go back into actually the origins of everything. We go into the roots of everything, and it will be easy for any subject for us to understand. Similarly, there is something called as economy from the angle of anthropology. For example, many of us know that in India, take for example the farmers or the peasants. What is the composition of the farmers? Who do you think are there in maximum numbers? The very rich farmers having 30, 40 acres, or the marginal and small farmers or peasants? How much they have? Roughly about 1 acre, 2 acres, or 3 acres. So most of our peasantry is having very small level of agriculture. They are called small and marginal farmers or peasants. And you know what is their kind of living? Their lifestyle is absolutely, like, we can't even speak about them. Their lives are absolutely bitter. They have something called as subsistence agriculture. What do you mean by subsistence? Subsistence means only hand to mouth. They barely get anything extra in their day-to-day life from their small parcels of land. They do not have surplus to sell in the market. Even if they get surplus, they'll be facing so many difficulties because, if you open the newspaper and see, and they get rains which are not timely rains, there are climate difficulties, there are droughts, there are floods, there are pests and shortages of pesticides, shortage of fertilizer. The life of a farmer is something like a hell. Because there are no other options, the farmer is continuing that lifestyle. And to tell you what, if you go and ask a farmer, would you want your son to become a farmer? How many farmers will tell? The answer is yes. No farmer would like to. Some of you might be coming from farming background. No farmer would like to make his son or daughter into a farmer. Their lifestyles are like very, very bad. And in anthropology, we have got so many dimensions which will appreciate what exactly is the lifestyle of these farmers, what are the programs that are given by the government, the land reforms, the green revolution, and so many things. So from the angle of economy, anthropology, you try to appreciate economy, or one part, not everything, one part. Similarly, polity. For example, if we take polity, we have got constitution in prelims, polity, even in mains we have polity. And in polity, now I'm asking you, which part will dominate mostly, constitution or governance? Or governance through constitution? Which is the one? Constitution, right? Constitution is the biggest document. It's called the living document. Constitutional principles we will be discussing even in the anthropology. You will be shocked actually. Paper 2. In paper 2, we have got certain part called tribal India. There we will be talking about SCs, STs and OBCs. If you have that syllabus, you can just go through that. Paper 2, if you go to chapter 7.1, 7.2, you'll find chapter 7. Constitutional safeguards for SCs, STs, OBCs. And what exactly is this about? Why we are talking about them in anthropology? Because I'll ask you one question. Again, when you become civil servants of tomorrow, you will be implementing certain schemes, right? The government will be implementing certain schemes, designing some schemes and programs. Who will be the beneficiary standing in the first line? And these programs are designed for maximum which kind of beneficiaries? The OC man, OC women, or which kind of people? SCs, STs, OBCs, minorities, and in that again women and OC man is the one completely in a different category. So when you go back into this, constitutional safeguards are based on another extraordinary key called preamble. And many of you might have seen preamble, our preamble, constitutional preamble. What exactly preamble says? Preamble says that India, and there is a very big document, it talks about equality, it talks about fraternity, it talks about justice, social, economic, political. It talks about dignity to the individual. And in India, what kind of population are more? Is inequality a common thing in India, or everybody is equal? What kind of composition is there? More than 60% people are still having many difficulties in life. Poverty is still there in India. Nearly 30 to 40% people are poor. That means government has to do a lot of things for them. And in the preamble, in the constitutional principles, everything is very clearly dealt, and you will be understanding polity better through anthropology. And next is science and technology. Of course, we have got not much of a technology except biotechnology. We have got the basics of science like biology. You all know biology. In that we talk about cell, we talk about gene, we talk about DNA, and many kind of ideas. We talk about forensics, forensic anthropology, and all these will be part of science and technology. They'll be useful in even your prelims as well as mains. And coming to environment, environmental knowledge, ecology is just the extension of biology. So all this knowledge will be useful, like species. They are asking about species, conservation. And every year, almost every year, 5 to 10 questions are compulsory, minimum, about species and conservation. And that language is nothing but biological language. And coming to these ideas, what about, I'll start from the base, essay. For example, there were certain essays, I have already typed some essays. There were essays which were asked in recent times, that being human or humane, what exactly is the meaning of humanity? The journey is more important than the destiny. So many questions will come, and they also talked about culture and civilization. All are core concepts in anthropology. That means we can even write excellent essays with the knowledge of anthropology. Right? And ethics. Coming to ethics, I'll not spend much time here. I'll go slightly forward and we'll talk about certain other things. For example, in ethics, I'll not say entire ethics, 250 marks, you can do wonderfully well, but at least a sizable part, at least 100 marks you can do well. For example, there are ideas like dharma. Even we have got an idea called Purushartha. Have you heard about this idea? Purushartha. In paper 2, we have Purushartha. You can open chapter 3.1 and see Purushartha. It starts with nature and structure of the traditional Indian society. 3.1. Varnashrama, Purushartha. Purushartha, even when you see your Pandit, whenever you get an occasion and some puja is going on in your home, or especially Hindus, that person will be in one occasion he says, Dharmartha Kama Moksha, Chaturvida Phala Purushartha. Purushartha means dharma. Most of you people know this, dharma. Ardha. Ardha, what is the meaning of ardha? Money. Ardha Shastra. Ardha, Kama, most of us know, Kama. Moksha, even some people know moksha. These are extraordinary principles which guided the individual and social life in ancient India. But today, even today, they have relevance. In fact, there was a question in GS, Vedic society and its relevance today. The Vedic society, religion, do we follow? By the way, I'm just asking, do we follow Vedic society, Vedic religion even today? Yes or no? Absolutely. Much of India follows Vedic religion and society. Even the Varna system. The Varna system is very important. Why? Because if I ask you, what is the other form of Varna? Immediately you'll answer. Caste. Everybody in India, caste is something like cash in your hand. You can just exchange that caste and you can get your benefits. If that fellow is of our caste, imagine your work is done. Correct? Even today, even this in this 21st century, advanced, except some people like C.V. Anand. Have you seen C.V. Anand getting promoted as DGP of this state? You know, actually, what is his caste name? He never disclosed. Recently in an interview, he said, my original name is Anand Reddy. My father was a socialist, so he never liked. He said, let us cut off that caste name. So only recently I came to know that this man is from this community. So caste is like caste is like identity. Caste has taken so deep roots that without caste we can't imagine our day. Even a single day, one point at the other, we get this mention of the caste. And how this caste originated, when it has originated, who has actually talked about them. We go very deeply, very, very deeply. It's something called as Varnashrama, Varna system. And it was even 4 Varna. Have you ever heard about 4 Varna? Chatur Varna, just like Chaturvidha Phala Purushartha, there is Chatur Varna. Chatur means 4. Varna means all this, caste systems, original forms. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, and even today, this something like a backbone or background of India. And many people later, if you'll not even imagine, there are backward castes among non-Hindus. In anthropology, we will also talk about them. For example, minorities. Certain states like Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Andhra Pradesh, Telangana have provided reservations to Muslims and Christians. Why? Is it based on religion? Or is it based on something else? It is based on the socio-economic status. Because before, earlier, 1,100, almost nearly 700, 800 years back, there were no other religions. All these were lower caste. Most of the people got converted. That backwardness is still there. So if you understand caste system, it's something like a mirror. You are seeing yourself in the mirror. Every day, you yourself in the mirror. That mirror is your anthropology. Every day, you can see the society through the lens of anthropology. Even your newspaper, when we go, get going, I'll bring, 2-3 sessions. Into those 2-3 sessions, I'll bring my newspaper. And today also, yesterday also, every day there are news items from the anthropology dimension. Right? So ethics, for example, Twisha Sharma. How many people heard about Twisha Sharma? Everybody in this class mostly. Who was that lady? This woman got killed, or I don't know, they said it is suicide, but her mother-in-law and husband were arrested by the CBI. And what is the reason? They are saying dowry deaths. And there was a section earlier in the Indian Penal Code, 498A, presumption as to death. If a married woman dies within 7 years of her marriage, there is a clause that the judge can come to a conclusion that this death is because of suicide abetted by dowry and other harassment. Dowry is one of the reasons. And there were anti-mortem marks on her head and other parts of the body which clearly say that it was not a suicide. And these people, why? I'll come to the topic. What exactly is the topic I'll hit in a second. And the parents and all these people are saying this woman is a drug addict. See how lower level. And that mother-in-law is a judge herself. She is a woman herself. And in India, dowry has taken lakhs of women's lives. Can you imagine? Has it ever happened to a man? I mean, why don't we think like this? Why a man is not killed for dowry? It may seem that I am talking in the favor of women. Why not? Why should not I talk in favor of women? When will we do that? Even if not in 21st century. Why women are important for us? Anthropology will open your eyes. I'm telling you, I'm showing some, animation, and maybe people may not buy it. Okay, first another disclaimer. You need not take this lecture into account. I'm telling openly. Because with one session, we cannot come into a judgment. With one session, we cannot come into a judgment and decide our life. It will take about 2-3 lectures or 5-6 lectures. One idea I'm going to share with you. Why? And in anthropology, we'll talk about man, woman, human body. Exactly, we'll try it. I told you, who am I? As biological animal, I am a person with 23 pairs of chromosomes. Let me tell you again. What I am, biologically speaking, I am a man. I have 23 pairs of chromosomes in every cell. And in these 23 pairs of chromosomes, what are the deciding chromosomes which says that I'm a man? Any idea? 22 plus X and Y. And in females, 22 plus X and X. Then how I have become a male? In sexual reproduction. And okay, let me tell you another disclaimer. You cannot feel sorry even on the first day or even after 3 months, 4 months. Sir, I don't like biology because there are so many, mentioning about sex and all that. It is very common. And we are also animals. Only we are cultural animals. That's it. The only difference between them and us. And we'll be talking about this at a regular interval. So 22 plus X and Y, then you're a man. Then how come there is X in you? How this X has come in you? Through the mother. That means there is an element of mother in you. I'm a man. I belong to my mother. Half of me is my mother. But why not I'm saying, I'll కొంచెం ఎమోషనల్గా మాట్లాడతా, కొంచెం ఫీల్ అయినా పర్లేదు మీరు. My mother passed away in 2011. Okay, when I was actually searching her things, she had her bag and some other things. I was going through her photographs when she was young. I started imagining my mother at that young age, how she would have been, because I could not see my mother at that so young age. So I've started thinking opposites. కొంచెం డీప్గా వినండి ఎవ్రీబడి. యూ మే కనెక్ట్ ఆర్ మే నాట్ కనెక్ట్, బట్ మై ఇంటెన్షన్ ఈజ్ వెరీ క్లియర్. బట్ ఐ సీ అ యంగ్ ఉమెన్స్ ఫేస్. I can see how she will become a mother and look like in the future. Unfortunately, this society is unable to see like that. The society how many kind of discriminations, violence, I can't even say. This class will not be enough. And women do, they're according to one estimate done by WHO got some other, I think ILO. About 10 years back, in an article I have read, what is a woman's contribution to a family? A woman, housewife antam kada man, housewife or homemaker. A woman's contribution to the family is about 55 lakh rupees per month in Indian rupees 10 years back. So you can't value a we do not value. I don't know for what reason. We are completely carried away by patriarchy. Tell you what, patriarchy has come as a question in GS1. Patriarchy. We have a topic called matriarchy, patrilineal. Only 2-3 days if you spend time with, it will be easy for you. And just write 1 or 2 tests and you will be completely free. Anthropology is highly scoring because of this. Even you are correct in your patrilineal means the property and title passes in the male line. Property and titles passes in the female line. That's it. Patriarchy, power to the males. Authority in the hands of males. Matriarchy, authority in the mother, female. According to one scholar, an anthropologist called J.J. Bachofen, a German anthropologist in 19th century, he wrote a book called, I'll come back to this later. He wrote a book called Das Mutterrecht. What is the English translation? Mother's Right. And according to him, matrilineal or matriarchy later evolved into patrilineal and patriarchy. Matriarchy this side. Thousands of years back, it was the females who had the property or females who had the authority. Later, men took over. You know, all these kinds of extraordinary ideas are discussed only by anthropologists, not any other discipline. You'll be definitely interested. Sir, when this shift has happened, when this might have happened. I told you about that Neolithic stone tool. What was the Neolithic stone tool used for? Agriculture, cutting grasses, cutting plants. When agriculture started, this entire shift has happened. Ulta ho gaya. Life has become ulta. Women started getting confined to home. They started taking care of the young ones. And they started taking care of the household, cooking, chores, CHORES, and all these works. And males were completely busy in the fields, agricultural fields. So there was a clear division of labor between male and female. And it went on to such an extent that female was almost like completely reduced to a second grade citizen. And to tell you what, today you have to acknowledge, whether you agree or not, women have already taken over many areas. They are topping every year. If you are blind enough, nobody can help us. If you are, wearing that mask, you and you got everyone, entire world to entire world I'm speaking, not just only to this class. And this class is not to praise women. I'm not saying men are less. Nobody is less, nobody is more. Everybody has got talent. Everybody has got capacities. The chromosomal picture is deciding that. There are certain dimensions in anthropology studying, going deeper. And with this knowledge, you can appreciate ourselves better. We understand ourselves better. When we understand ourselves better, we understand others also better. Right? So like that, we can go on adding so many dimensions in that. Essay is done. Finally, coming to personality test. Then I'll go to the other dimensions. What is the last phase of your exam? And what is the importance of this marks wise? Have you ever examined how many marks it carries? 275. Not given to any paper. Any other paper is only having 250 marks significance. That means personality test is more important than even this. 25 marks can actually completely remove you from the list or put you on the top of the list. 25 marks extra. And unfortunately, no subject or no one is talking about personality. You'll be like surprised, and you'll be to the pleasant surprise to you, anthropology is also personality development class. You ask my previous students, they'll tell. I will not canvas anything now. It's about, I told you, if you start understanding yourself, if you look in the mirror every day, will you not become better every day? And many of you might have noticed, to become better speakers. Acha, tell you what, many students of mine come and speak here after the end of the session. Earlier, their feet were shaking. Slowly, they take the steps. Slowly, they start opening. This is one small thing. And in personality development, many people suggest to you, what you should be doing? Do mirror practice. Right? Many people stand near the mirror, in front of the mirror. They do this, and they evolve. And if you see yourself in the mirror every day, the mirror called society, the mirror called anthropology. Oh my goodness, you can't even imagine. This is not exaggeration. This is not promotion. This is not marketing. This actual stuff. Because I have a habit of going to the very deeper and core and soul of the concept. Not just superficial stuff. And when you actually see in the classes, you will realize. That is done. Personality test is done. And in that personality test, people are scoring at about maximum. Recently, one person got 225. Toppers usually get about 190, 200, 210. But one person got 225. That is about 82%. Not possible in any individual paper. Personality test is also covered. So almost all the dimensions are done. And before going there, another thing I'll draw here. Have you seen this diagram earlier? In your 8th class, 9th class, 10th class. A white light is passed through a prism. And a white light is dispersed through a prism. It will throw all the 7 colors, the rainbow colors. These rainbow colors are of course Vibjor. But anthropology is such a prism. Now in this, what we have is anthropology. And when we see the, as I told you, when you start seeing the society through the lens of anthropology, I'm not saying anthropology is the only optional which it is help. It is a better optional if you want to understand the society deeper. Other optionals, other subjects also help you. It's not, I'm not saying that other optionals are less or other subjects are less. Every subject is having its own merits and other things. But here, we'll be trying to understand, as I told you, women, number one, we try to understand, that is gender. Even male gender, female gender. We understand people's languages. We'll try to understand people's food. For example, when 2 persons are sitting and eating together, and one person is a core vegetarian right from childhood, and the other person is a pure non-vegetarian, usually what kind of things may start first time. See, I'll not sit. No. There is a lot of distance people maintain. And eventually, when you start listening to the different dimension, there is a scholar called Franz Boas. These are not things told by me. Scholars told actually. There is a person called Franz Boas. He brought an idea called cultural relativism. Go to chapter 2.1. You find an item called cultural relativism. I'll take the same example. These 2 people, when they are eating, first time they met, and the vegetarian person says, chi, yak, tu, kaisa khate tum log, how you eat, there is lot of violence, you kill animals. But there is a justification for this person eating non-vegetarian, because it's a source of excellent protein. And you have all the amino acids which are helpful. Nowadays, most of you know this language because you are all conscious, health conscious, bodybuilding conscious, protein conscious. Animal protein gives all the amino acids which are needed for body's growth and repair. And what about the ghas poos? In Hindi there is saying, ghas poos, gaddi dinta, roj gaddi dinta mekalaga. Vegetarians are ridiculed every day. How can you eat so much vegetables? But after COVID, the world has suddenly woke up to vegetarianism. Suddenly people started going crazy about fiber, vegetarian, Americans especially. Because if you see an average American individual, that fellow eats meat in the morning, meat in the afternoon, meat in the night. Meat. If you see Trump's menu when he comes to India, he starts with meat, he ends with meat. Roughly here and there they put topping. But after COVID-19, the world has realized equal measure of fiber from vegetables and fruits should be eaten, not along with meat. So which are important now? Tell me, my dear friends. Both vegetarianism, both non-veg, both are important. And what is this cultural relativism? Cultural relativism says that no culture is superior, no culture is inferior. In fact, every culture is relative to each other based on the context, based on the context of muscle building. Non-vegetarian food is good. Based on the concept of gut health, vegetarian food is good. So based on the situation, both are right. So can you say vegetarians are good or non-vegetarians are good? You cannot come to a judgment. You cannot become a judge on others. I'll slowly open up all these points. Slowly, everybody kindly focus. Because this optional requires extreme patience. But you'll come and, you'll come and give a statement later. How personalities evolve. For example, if I'm now, for example, spending my time with my vegetarian friend or non-vegetarian friend, slowly I start relating to them. Earlier I used to run away. I used to go and sit in the other room. For example, if you sit with a Bengali, every day that fellow brings machi. Every day they open machi. You'll like, are you ever ever miranta? Kya machi laga rakhe? I'll not sit with you people, but when you start using this cultural relativism, even the smell you may not bear or that thing, but slowly that Bengali culture you start. Why you fellows like machli? You start asking the question on the 10th day. That fellow will ask you on the 11th day, why you are eating this pappu and aloo fry? What is now building between you people? Earlier distance was increasing, now distance is decreasing. You start appreciating the other fellow's language, culture. When you start appreciating other person, what will he do in return? Is it not personality development? Why personality is important? Last thing, and I'll close this discussion. We go to the next one. I'll not take more than 4, 5, 4, 10. Antak minchi mee sahanaanni parikshinchanu nenu. Okay? Not more than that. Why personality test important for civil services exam? Why not for a constable exam? Have you ever questioned this? Because you will be dealing with 100 kinds of different minds in the field. Civil servant job is a field job for the first 15-20 years. You will be working the field like as assistant SP if you are an IPS officer, assistant collector if you are an IAS officer. And in the field, there are different kinds of people, so many kinds of people from all the languages, different religions, men, women, peasants, rich people, middle class fellows. You have to rule and you have to deliver justice to them, administration, service to them, irrespective of their background. You'll be meeting different kinds of personalities. So if you can appreciate other person's personality, then your job is half done. If you show your arrogance or I am the heaven born, I am coming from that service, you will be immediately sent on leave or kind of transferred. So we have got a report recently. One collector started beating people with sticks on the road. So he became suddenly crazy. The movie suddenly he became a crazy. Next day, a memo was served on him. Memo is a very big thing for an IAS officer. So like that, personality is also there. So anthropology is a prism. Everywhere you can actually use it. Every day it will come to your, in your life. Now, you can see in these 4 slides, tell me what is common. One slide you have seen, another slide, another slide, another slide. What is common in all this? Don't say buffalo. Buffalo is a special thing for us, special guests. But where do buffaloes and animals enjoy? In a city where these are all concrete jungles. Nowadays, now prelims question, prelims GS topics. There is something called as, I'm not getting that. Light reflect out the children. Heat kind of, some effect is happening. Land some effect. Have you heard about that? Why it is happening in only cities? Because the heat is generated and reflected, and even night 9 o'clock till recently, last 10 days back, we were unable to cool off. Can you say same thing in Srisalam forest? In fact, you don't want to come once you go to Srisalam forest. Not because of religion and God, but because of nature. And in all the 4 slides, what was common? Nature and greenery. On the account of World Environment Day yesterday, let me also remember that. Yesterday, you all know, World Environment Day. What are we doing to protect nature? Can you say, Telugulo చెప్తాను గుండెల మీద చేసుకుని English translation, it is very difficult. Put your hand on your heart. You can't say, no. Can you tell me with complete conscience, are we doing anything to better help the environment? Are we destroying the environment? Majority of us, tell me honestly. If you have got 1 lakh rupees and if you are living in a room, suddenly you want to buy a AC or not? You'll rush to the shop and buy an AC and you say, okay, I'm cooling off. How many people will buy with the 100 plants and plant in the nature with the same amount? But you know, my dear friends, who will do that for us? You have seen those people in the slides. The tribal people, yeah, you're absolutely right. The tribal people are the only people on this planet who, without anyone outsider telling them go and plant the trees, they are already doing that since thousands of years. Not one day. Not just June environment, 5th environment, and we all clap and forget. Photographs are over, videos are done, we are all back to home. They are living in nature since times immemorial. Since thousands of years, they were living there. And their first job is they wake up and worship nature. Have you heard about this word any time? Sarna, Sarna Sthal, Sarna Dharam, Sarna Code, whatever you name, suffix you add. Sarna Sthal, Sarna Dharam, Sarna Code. In fact, it is nothing but tribal religion worshipping and what is your religion? If suddenly I ask, you people say, sir, Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Jainism. Can anybody say that my religion is nature worship? Though we worship Surya and Chandra, all that stars, planets, but are we worshipping trees really? Do our ancestors live on the top of the trees, our ancestral spirits? But the tribal people's ancestral spirits stay on the top of the trees. You may ask, sir, are they seeing them? Do they see them? No, they believe them. Belief is enough. Have you seen God? But do you believe in God? Ho gaya na? So with that kind of worship itself, they are indirectly, directly protecting the nature, not from today, since thousands of years. And this is one dimension only, my dear friends. I'm adding another one. For example, now you have got a lot of money. Imagine you've put some stocks, you build some money, buildings. What do you want to buy apart from cement, steel and all that? You want to build a big, right, room and cottage for your friends, garden. A garden lo malla uyalo utam enadi jhula and lot of wood, right? Don't we buy lot of wood? Some kind of outhouse for a dog kennel. Kennel is made of what? Wood. The tribal people only collect things fallen from the trees. That's it. They don't even cut a branch of a tree. You won't even believe me. It looks like any, sir, what kind of a story you're telling? It's actually truth. Because we never know what is happening outside our world. We see things whatever you have been brought up. But these people are brought up to use resources frugally. What do you mean by frugally? Means minimally. So automatically these people are, tomorrow there might be an essay also in this. Already one essay has come. Ethics also, there was a question earlier. Gandhi said, this nature has everything for your needs, but not for your greeds. And what are we actually? The mainstream people, the civilized, the so-called well-read people, educated people, the 21st century scientific people. We are cutting our trees. Take the example of the Great Nicobar project. You can't even imagine, you'll go in a shock. Thousands, crores of trees are felled. Now there is a project going on in our Banjara Hills, Jubilee Hills check post, KBR Park. hundreds of trees are felled. And to tell you another twist in the story, my heart bleeds when I say this. Recently you had all gas problem, correct? Gas problem, gas problem, gas crisis, our cooking gas crisis, correct? The cooking gas crisis. Some people, because gas was not available, cooking gas, they started cutting the trees on the roads in the night and burning them for as fuel. For them, anthropology subject is not enough. They have to read 10 subjects. Even then, that fellows never realize. So that for one tree to regrow, you know how many years it will take? Like your generation, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. Like a human being becomes an adult. Oh my God, I can go on like this. These people only take what they want just for their existence. And they leave this concept will also come in the future, carbon footprint. Have you heard this? How many people heard this? As I told you, when you become rich, you buy one bike. Nowadays, of course, thankfully, we have got electric bikes. Previously, 2-3 years back, I want to buy a sports bike. I want to buy a, what is that? On the Harley Davidson, then Formula E car, that car. If I get a big lottery, I'll buy some more cars. For a big car like Ferrari, you know how many liters it will burn? How much carbon dioxide it will leave into the atmosphere. So the more civilized we become, the more carbon we are releasing into the atmosphere, and we cry that this world is getting heated up. Who are responsible? You and me are responsible. This, unfortunately, is not spoken in many of the other subjects. Anthropology is that subject which talks about our own mother nature. Nature is called in India by Mother Nature. We are actually killing our mother. And with our mother, we got extraordinary emotional connection. As I told you earlier, if you start seeing a mother in the other woman, I mean, this world will become an extraordinary place. It will become a beautiful place. It's a paradise. No chance. You know, you heard about a country called Netherlands and Luxembourg. 5 years back, or 10 years back, 10 years back, I heard that Netherlands is shutting down its jails. Jails are being closed. You know why? Not with inmates. Jails completely. The country never got requirement of jails. You know why? Because of high level of human development, no need for crime. Their crime rate was going down every day. That is the kind of development we want. You don't want these kinds of, society. Chalo. And all this is general thing already you guys know. It is consistently getting toppers, and questions are direct. Most of the questions are direct. In fact, I can say almost like 80 to 90%. 80% is a minimum. Sometimes 90% questions are direct. That means only 10 to 20% questions are only slightly twisted. That's it. And syllabus is very limited. And another thing, it is limited and highly interlinked. For example, just now I told about cultural relativism in 2.1. Underline that and go to a chapter called chapter 6 in paper 1. Chapter 6, paper 1. There is a scholar called Bowes, Historical Particularism, Bowes. Chapter 6, paper 1. Unda? Is it there? So I told you, historical, this man, Franz Bowes, he was given a title called Father of American Anthropology. So he popularized this term called cultural relativism. He gave another idea called historical particularism. When I discuss historical particularism, cultural relativism is already covered. So you need not study 2.1 separately. So lot of connections are there. Again, you see 2.1, again in 2.1, we've got a topic called 2.2, social stratification. 2.2, social stratification. What do you mean by social stratification? The society is divided into layers. What are the layers in Indian society? You've answered already. 4 levels originally. 4 layers. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. So 4 layers are nothing but strata. Now again come to chapter 3, paper 2. Paper 2, chapter 3. You got the Varnashrama, caste system, 3.2, caste system in India. Theories on the origin of the caste system in India. Dominant caste. Everything about caste you know like the back of your hand. I can guarantee that. It is like you start understanding caste better now. Earlier we used to talk about reservations, right? Most of you. If I immediately announce a debate, immediately the class is divided into 2. Yes, and some people say no. Correct? In India, yes, pro-reservation, anti-reservation. Some people say no, reservation should be removed. Some people say even introduce reservation in the private sector. Correct? Certain political parties. So continuously this debate is something like this, never ending. How all these reservations have originated in the first place? What Ambedkar has actually told about this? What are his ideas on the caste? Even we'll talk about Ambedkar. Many people don't know. Many books even never published this. He goes to America in 1935. He was invited by an anthropologist called Golden Weiser, Alexander Golden Weiser. Okanisha Vinanandar. Sorry for being rude, because if I ask my previous students, they'll tell what kind of, that flow is very important for me. Even as person is slightly going this side. When he was invited for a lecture, or he even presented a paper there. Ambedkar is also a scholar. It's not just only this dimension we know. He wrote something called as caste on that. He said endogamy is the biggest contributor of caste. What is endogamy? Endo means inside, gamy means marriage. Marrying inside your own community or social group. For example, in India, what is the most common example of endogamy? Caste endogamy. If I given a chance, I would like to give my daughter to the person of another caste, same caste. Endogamy, he said, the moment endogamy goes out of India, caste is gone. So the roots of caste are there in endogamy. So many dimensions we'll see from Ambedkar's angle, Gandhi's angle. Gandhi said, you have to go back to Varna system of the original form. If you want to develop India and if you want to remove the inequalities, thousands of years ago, roughly about 2,000-3,000 years ago, caste system in the form of Varna system was introduced in India. That is the best form. But how many people agree? Nehru had another rank. Nehru is coming, he is like a well-grown person in cities. He's an urbanized guy. He used to see caste from a different angle. We have people somewhat like, we have Marx, but not indirect. He's got something like a background. Marx is in the background, but people influenced by Marx are regular in anthropology. Like we have got Marvin Harris, we've got Leslie White, we got Julian Stewart. All these names were like bouncers to you. At the moment, you need not worry about them. And Weber comes and goes like that. Just he says hello and goes. Like Weber is also important for us. All the main thinkers, Aristotle comes here, and he is a father of anthropology according to some scholars. Indian scholars like M.N. Srinivas regularly, even it's something like entire Indian anthropology is about Indian society. Whatever you cover here will be useful in GS paper 1 completely. Society, Indian society. So like that, in that way, entire things are highly interconnected, limited and diverse syllabus because of, I told you, biology, society. We study all this culture. We study language. We study, archaeology. One of the most interesting thing, if we correctly dealt. And lastly, tribes. Even the caste system is there in this culture and language. So I need not mention highly scoring. Even if you write what is what, you will be given 50% marks. The beauty of anthro, I don't know, I can't talk about other optionals, but since I have written my exam with anthropology in every year, I have given 3 attempts long back. Initially, when there were 2 optionals, and so you can even, some people can ask why you have taken anthropology as your teaching subject. Because originally when I prepared first time, geography I have chosen. With geography I could not clear prelims. There were prelims, even optionals in prelims. Geography I could not clear. Then I have switched over to PubAd. For mains I have written geography, but I said no, it is not going to work. I have taken PubAd even in mains, but when I asked my teachers, they said, sorry, beta, nowadays it's not scoring much. Then I've switched. I've written anthropology every time. Anthropology and geography originally. Later anthropology and PubAd I thought for a while, and anthropology and Telugu literature. In every attempt there was anthropology. Because somewhere I got connected with that, and it was such a lovely thing. Without much help I could read textbooks. And even minimal I write, I used to get very good marks. Only basic things, half of the answer only I used to write, but still good marks. Okay? And consistently producing toppers. This is all history now. Everybody knows that. Quickly I'll go through this. It enables us to understand the society and current affairs better. Even if you take Naga, Kuki conflict, this yesterday is the dowry system. Dowry system I've talked, no, I suddenly missed. In tribal people, there is no dowry. You know, why I have raised that topic? Sorry, I've just forgot that. Dowry, there are no dowry deaths in tribes. You'll be like shocked. There, that girl is given ulta money for coming and joining. The woman's place is important in a tribal society. It is useful in GS already talked about this. Anyone with any academic background can choose. But interestingly, engineers are topping the anthropology as top rankers. Engineers are topping, not doctors or biologists. Once in a while, medical people also sing. Like 7th year, this year 7th ranker is a doctor. Enables development of a holistic personality. I'll definitely give notes on an almost daily basis. I have a clear plan. Maybe in the next session, I'll give a clear plan, roadmap in the very beginning. I'll start the discussion with some introduction. I'll deal a PYQ. I'll give PYQ based notes. I'll give questions for daily writing. Weekly test I'll conduct on Saturdays. On the next Monday, after Saturday's test, coming Monday starts with test discussion. Then we'll go to next topic. Like that, it's a very clearly mentioned, articulated one. These are all again for your just understanding. 362 marks is the highest one has scored in out of 500, not out of 600. So 350 plus also people can score. Nowadays it has come down. All the optionals around 290, 300 only they are scoring. And very less. If you score less than 250, difficult to find your name in the list. Consistently producing toppers, top 1, top 2, top 3. I all know this. I don't want to rant. Yeah, my students recently, about last 4 or 5 years, I want to just share. This girl took my test series and mentorship in Bangalore and Delhi. She came to Delhi also. From Bangalore also she met me, in Delhi also. 5th attempt she got. 4 attempts she could not clear prelims. 5th attempt. It's not saying I am the only one. No, please don't. Let me give a disclaimer. I am not saying I am the only one responsible. No, I just played my part. Let me be humble to the core. Aniket Ranjan also, I just spoke to him about 4 days back. You will be surprised. 4 days back only when I was seeing my reviews. Enduko chustuna reviews, like so many reviews are there in that. Aniket Ranjan, kaun hai ye banda? Ikkada undi mind. Again, I've opened my WhatsApp because I had groups in Unacademy WhatsApp, and I saw that fellow. This face is slightly matching, and I rang him up. Yes, sir, I've heard your classes, I've video lectures. When you were again, I'm telling the truth only, honestly. When I was leaving an academy, he joined. I'm not saying because of my classes he is there. No, again, I'm telling you. But he gave me 5-star rating. And thankfully, he acknowledged in the call. In that call, he spoke. He was a nice guy. And so people, he did not change his whatever idea. So this is about Aniket Ranjan. Kritika, recently she got 400. This boy got 667 in 2023. Only 100, same, you see, 100 ranks he has improved. He got same IPS, unfortunately. He is from scheduled caste background. He got 567. He was in IPS only. He could not get by because of some permutations and combinations. This boy, very early, he got this. Like that, I'm not going further. So, this is also done. All this, most of the topics have already covered. Indian history, ancient Indian history, Varnashrama, Purushartha, caste system, everything like Vedas, Puranas, all that. Demography also we'll speak about in chapter 11. Chapter 11, if you open, chapter 11 in paper 1, chapter 2 in paper 2. So like that, demography is covered there. Social issues like all this development, urbanization, migration, most of the topics we discuss. Governance from the angle of the schemes and policies. How policies are made by the government. What is the basis? On what basis governments make policies? That is the idea. And constitutional provisions, I told you, right from the preamble I discussed in the class. Preamble, Article 14, Article 12 rarely, Article 14, 15, 16, 17, Article 23, 24, 25, 29, 30, like that there are about 20, 30 articles, minimum 30 articles we cover, and also some other dimensions. So issues relating to development and management of social sector, poverty and hunger in tribals, especially from tribal angle, SCs, why scheduled caste, why untouchability has come to India, all that we will discuss. And GS3, that is your environment and ecology, very less. For example, internal security issues, Northeast, Naga problem, Mizo, now cookies problem. Why there is a problem in internal security from anthropological angle, we will try to see. GS4 is ethics, essay, already I have talked about them. Some essays that have come, you see, being human being and being humane. Culture is what we are, civilization is what we have. This is a statement given by anthropologists actually. An anthropologist, two anthropologists quote that. McIver and Page. You go to chapter 2.1, 2.1 lo discussion to chudandi. Culture and civilization. There is a discussion between attributes of culture, culture and civilization. Unda kada? Is it there? The same topic is dealt there also. This is a previous year essay topic. No social justice without economic prosperity, but economic prosperity without social justice is meaningless. When we talk about scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, OBCs, minorities, the topic is indirectly social justice. Patriarchy, already I spoke about that. So these are the topics. And finally, everybody read, I will not repeat. These are the highlights. This is the highlight of, you will not get anywhere in the market. Anywhere. This keyword approach will benefit you even in GS. Everywhere it is used. For example, I told you about patriarchy. Patri, father. Patri ante evaru father. Archy, authority, rule. Father, so rule. Like that in anthropology, by the time you complete about 5 months, so many words and these things, I'll make it clear for you such that you will get connected to the subject. Subject and you will not be different. You and subject will become one. So answer writing will be there, organic linkage with current affairs will be there, all that is. And this is important because your personality gets transformed. Teaching style, pedagogy means teaching style. Teaching style will hit the core of the topic, exactly what is required for you and the exam. Integrated dealing of the subject. Each chapter begins with, as I told you, commentary style of writing. I'll give you certain training in writing such that the reader will be attracted. The moment that line is read, the reader is sure, examiner or your friend or whenever, wow, how you have written. That's a good introduction, good conclusion. And what exactly is needed for answer? I'll give you. There is an idea called anatomy of an answer. You please mention. In one of the sessions, I'll take this. Anatomy of an answer. You know what is anatomy? While I was in college, there was an exhibition called MEDEX in Usmania Medical College. So when we entered into that exhibition, we have seen a body lying in a big box, put in some kind of formalin liquid, formalin. So in MBBS students and medical students know about this anatomy. So we dissect an answer. What exactly is an answer? UPSC lo, just for Telugu, I'll come back to English. Emi raste marks vastayi. Answer lo ye components undali. Where should you write paragraphs? Where should you write points? Where should you write draw diagrams? When should you end the answer? How should you begin the answer? How can you end the answer? Can we use quotations? Can we use definitions? So many things are there. Unfortunately, nobody deals it as a separate topic. It's a separate class, one class. One class will be on answer writing. What else? Anthropological perspective on all the topics. Examination orientation from day one. These are our highlights. And I don't want to rant much. I think our time is up. Now, thank you. Before saying goodbye and all the best, any queries you want to ask? So many things we can talk about, but any questions, don't hesitate. The last 5 minutes is your session, I told you. Anybody? You're clear on how to go forward? By the way, I did not ask the question. Some of you might have decided, some of you have not. If you still have the people who have not yet decided to go for Anthro, I'm always there. I can just listen to your quandary. I'll help you resolve it, or whatever doubts you have, please ask me. I'm just sitting there after this. Thank you. All the best.